With a? Yeah, thank you very much. A meatball. Does anyone know what the meatballs are made out of? Yeah, good guess, meat. Love that. Well, I heard it was the people that just got stuck in rugs and lighting. They never made it out. Anyway, I'm going to leave the stage now with a face off Ice Road Truckers and a body off Love Island. Oi, oi!
Hello, how's everyone doing? I'm doing all right. I was on the bus earlier, right, and I was just getting off, right, and I was walking down the stairs, and I caught myself on that little CCTV monitor. You ever caught yourself on that? Just the back of your head. It's like I caught myself in a crime I hadn't committed yet. You know what I mean? Because from the back of the head, that is the most incriminating part of the body. Like from the back of the head, I am capable of anything. From the front, I'm a choir boy. That's tax fraud, and then that's genocide. You know what I mean? I'm a dictator. That's my impression of a dictator, by the way. I did go to drama school. I went in and was like, I'm going to be a star. And then I came out and was like, I'm going to be a barista. I'm going to make coffee. No, because there's a lot of diversity now in the acting world, which is great. Like there's a gay black man playing Doctor Who, which is great. Yeah, that's right. But like calling it like a win for diversity, which I don't really understand. Like a win for diversity would be like a gay black man playing James Bond, right? I mean, that'd be amazing, right? I mean, I wouldn't watch it. I'd be livid. But I'm just saying, I wish them all the best. No, because it's difficult for me as a posh white guy. Because, you know, like, it's hard. No, it is. Because, when I fail, right, I know it's me. Do you know what I mean? Because when other people fail, they've got reasons. Like sexism and racism and structural oppression. I've got none of that. Do you know how difficult that is for me, guys? That's waking up each morning knowing there's nothing stopping me from becoming a successful lawyer. You know what I mean? And yet I'm not. What's that about? Like, I can't work in a small business, right, without someone coming up to me and going, are you the owner? It's like, no, I'm just a white guy on minimum wage. Do you know what I mean? My dad is. But that's, no, I'm a progressive guy. I love period sex. No, I do. No, because a lot of guys don't like it, do they? Like, they don't like their blood. Like, I love it. Like, no, I do. It reminds me of our fallen heroes. You know, I get really patriotic. Like, I was having period sex with this girl. She was like, sorry, I didn't make you come. I was like, hey, you did something far more valuable than that, right? You reminded me of Europe's post-war commitment to peace, right? Thank you for your service. No, I am actually a male feminist. Any other male feminists in the audience? Woo! That's good. That's tepid. But no. Because it's quite difficult, right? Because I was talking to my sister the other day, right? And she opened up to me. She was like, you know, Al, I don't like my tits, right? And I'd never been in that situation before, so I just said, I think you've got great tits. And as soon as I said it, I was like, that sounds like I think I fancy you. But we had sex. No, we didn't. I looked it up. It is illegal. I can't fuck as well because I'm skinny, so I can only make love. Do you know what I mean? Because like Pilates guy, you're probably like, I'm going to put you in a wheelchair. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to limit your quality of life, you bitch. I can't. Because when I do it, I'm like, I'm going to put you in an Uber. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure you get home safely. You lovely woman. You can stay here if you like. It's no fine. No, because in my head I'm a daddy, right? But I think. When women see me, they kind of see like famished World War II soldier. You know what I mean? Returning from the battlefield. She's going to nurse me back to full health. Suck away the PTSD. Ha! So that's my cum face as well. You've got to have a cum face, gentlemen. You have to. If you don't, because you'll get in awkward situations. Like I was having sex with a girl. She was like, you're going to tell me when you're going to get a cum, right? I was like, shit. That is going to be quite difficult unless you happen to be in possession of a time machine. How do you feel about becoming a single mum? No, because then you get really defensive because she's like, you didn't tell me you were going to come, and then you go, I did like 20 seconds ago when I went like that. It was so clear. I don't know. I'm a little bit messed up in the head, guys. My dad did leave me when I was young, and then came back from work in the evening. Kind of middle class absent, physically present, emotionally closed off, but financially available. I'll leave you with this, guys. I don't have much relatable material. My most relatable period is when I was 18, right, and I had braces and Roaccutane, right? And does anyone know what like Roaccutane is? Like military grade acne medication, right? When the GP gave it to me, he was like, "This will definitely clear up your face, but it might make you want to kill yourself. And my mom was like, that's a risk I'm willing to take. So that's good.
I'm 30 now. Thanks, black don't crack. Except for at the heel. That'll crack. I turned 30 and I decided I wanted to live my best life, live my boldest self. So I decided to wear more colour, grey. I also shaved my head and dyed it blonde. Upon doing this, I thought it would be more edgy, more fun. I've realised there are two types of people with this particular hair. There's me, and then there's 60-year-old black women. Yeah. I've also become very popular with the gays. Yes. I've become lesbian catnip in recent months. Now my body is, for want of a better word, fucked. Because I have 2 children. Yeah. So, honey, if you're buying, I am supplying. Yeah. And my body is mostly fucked because I'm breastfeeding. So I've got 2 children. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 3-year-old's really big and beautiful. All the fat in her body has been redistributed to her attitude. That's quite fun. And I'm breastfeeding my son. I'm doing what they call long-term breastfeeding. So I'm trying to breastfeed him until he's 2 because I breastfed my daughter until she was 2. And people would get really animated about this stuff. They'd say like, oh my God, you breastfed her until she was 2. Didn't she have teeth? The child would play, yeah. And so it's every man you ever had to suck on your tits, Claire. I hope. Imagine that. Only dating toothless men on some kind of fucked up principle. Just lapping at your areolas like they're sipping soup. Just disgusting. Disgusting. It's gross. More fun facts about me. I'm from Essex, a really beautiful part of the world, on the border of East London and Essex. It's called Dagenham. Yeah. Local celebrities include the old Ford factory and the BNP. I'm also Dominican. Are there any Dominicans in? Any Dominicans who aren't related to me? And Dominica is not to be confused with the Dominican Republic because they're different places. No hablo español. Okay, but people don't know a lot about Dominica. They're kind of people underestimate Dominicans quite a lot, and you shouldn't, because I want to tell you a story about my nan. So my nan came to London in the 1960s. Tough time for black people. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. You know, OG racism. Yeah. She was a really lovely lady. She was really elegant, like always impeccably turned out, really polite, like the definition of a lady, right? So she was in the butcher's one day and she was queuing up, and then a white lady came in, cut in front of her. My nan tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, there's a queue." She said, "I don't care, you can wait." Now my nan, being the lady that she was, tapped this woman on the shoulder and whispered in her ear, "Hey, bitch." This woman turned around, aghast. My grandmother proceeded to bite that woman on the tit. Chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. And I love telling that story because people think it's like a kind of a Michelle Obama thing, you know, like when they go low, you go high. No. Pauline Merriford was a motherfucking savage. She said, when they go low, you go lower and you kneecap that bitch. I do love being Dominican as well. I love meeting Dominican men when I was dating, particularly because they remind me a lot of my dad. They're, you know, kind and funny and hard to find. But there is an element of danger being a Dominican woman seeking Dominican man, and that danger, ladies and gentlemen, is incest. Because in the Caribbean community, there's no such thing as a stranger, only a cousin you haven't met yet. Give you a perfect example of this. My parents. Yep, you're right not to laugh because it's not a joke. But it's okay, my parents are second cousins, which I'm told is the best kind of incest. Yeah. Because if you're wondering, you know, if you're ever, you know, at Christmas and you're looking at your cousin thinking, I could. If it's a second, you're safe. Because it's close enough that you kind of get the good genetic traits, like you get good eyesight, and far enough away that you don't, like, develop a hunchback. No? So I was out a couple of years ago, I met this beautiful guy named Daniel. He looked like a kind of a cross between Anthony Jordan and kind of Anthony Jordan? Oh, Anthony Joshua and Michael B. Jordan. Maybe he was Anthony Jordan. No, he was basically gorgeous. Daniel, beautiful guy. And I really liked him. I thought, oh my God, I really like this guy. Like, he's Dominican. I haven't got time to wait for blood test results. What the fuck am I going to do? So I did what any self-respecting woman would do in that situation, guys. I sucked his dick and sent him on his way. You've been so lovely, thanks.
Marcus B. So the more observant amongst you tonight, you will already be able to tell I'm from one of potentially 40 different countries. Half British, half Malaysian. All right, no fans of Malaysia internet. Strange one, being Asian, a number of times in my life people have tried to relate to me through my Asianness. A number of times in my life people have come up to me and said, hey, you Asian? And I'll say, yes. Now these people like to tell me they went to Asia on their gap year, and I know they do mean well, but heritage and a gap year are two very different things. For example, I don't go up to a homeless guy and say, hey, you homeless? And the homeless guy says, yeah. And I'll say, well, because I've been to Glastonbury. Yeah, slept in a sleeping bag and everything. So it's my mum that's Malaysian, but my dad, he is white, like really, really, really white. And when I think back to my childhood, when I was 5 and he was 50. Good work, everyone. Yeah, my dad used to be in the RAF, the Royal Air Force, and that came in handy when I was a kid. I used to spoon feed me as a child. He'd say, here comes the aeroplane. Then the PTSD would kick in. Flashbacks. Yeah, we always just hold hands in the shopping centre, but we had to stop all that when the pandemic started. Now, this was back in the 90s. We're talking Britpop, New Labour. Trust me, incredible time to be 6. And I was a bit of a geezer back then. I used to drink on bongos by the pint. And in my manic sugared up state, I'd break free from my dad's hand, I'd try and run away, and I don't know if you've ever seen a white man chase a little Asian kid before. I mean, I've never seen it, but I have lived it. So my dad would catch me, he always catches me, and I'd scream up things like, you're not my dad. Who are you? Which between us guys were lies, but the people in the shopping centre were witnessing a full-blown abduction. Yeah, no one ever called the police, but I like to think there's a banker working in Canary Wharf, making a lot of money, living a really good life, but every once or twice a month gets triggered and thinks, fuck, was I complicit in child trafficking? Yeah, but it's all good now, I'm all grown up these days. We walk together, still not like father and son, but more like work colleagues with very similar teeth. So education was really important growing up, shocker. There was no pressure to become a doctor or a lawyer or a member of parliament, especially not a member of parliament. Because think about it, right? Have you ever seen a member of parliament that looks like this? Right, you can't be what you can't see, right? But I'm hoping the United Kingdom can be more progressive like in these other countries. Because I don't know if any of you knew this, but there's actually been 3 Asian presidents of North Korea. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, Marcus, what about the human rights record? It's about the journey, not the destination. So I've been getting into astrology recently, not the Western one, the Eastern one. I think it's a lot more direct. One woo, yes, we're in. I think it's more direct, right? Because you've got Year of the Dragon, Year of the Tiger, Year of the Ox, right? Pretty sexy stuff, right? Sexy stuff. Then you've got pig, rat, snake. So if you're single and looking for a red flag, it's coming right towards you. And me personally, I'm Year of the Monkey. And I think this checks out on every single level, right? Because some people see me, right? They see a fun, cheeky, chappy sort of guy. And other people see me and they're racist. Yeah. I'm probably the most racist person I know, actually. Oh, yeah, I heard a gasp there. No, I love black people, I love white people, I love brown people. But if I ever see a guy that looks like me enter the friendship group, I just think, who the fuck is this guy? I bring him to one side and say, mate, come here. The friendship group is full. Go home. Yeah, my white liberal friends, they tell me, Marcus, stop being so aggressive. And I tell them to stop diversifying their portfolio. I'll be the first to admit it. The set so far, been pretty race heavy. Yeah. Comedian said to me recently, he said, you're so lucky that you can do all this race stuff, because I don't get to do all that. And I said, well, would you want to? Because you're a white guy. I don't think talking about being an Asian is going to help you at all. Audiences can't always smell the bullshit, but they can definitely see it. Yeah, been under a bit of pressure recently. I've turned 30, and I'm the first person in 4 generations not to have killed someone. And that is a lot to live up to. It's true. Like, my great-granddad was World War I. My granddad, World War II. My dad has a vibe. You've been brilliant. You've got a great show ahead. Thank you very much.
Hello. Oh my God, it's so nice to be here.
here in this room full of white people. So much fun. I'm very happy to be here in this rainy fascist island. It's my favorite. It's so cute. I actually moved to this country specifically for the rain. And for old men to call me exotic in pubs. So it's going well. Thanks for asking. And they do like to let you know, they like to remind you in case you forget, in case you think that you're a person. You're not, you know. I remember the first time I was called Jackie Chan. I was 5 years old. And even then I remember thinking, Jackie Chan? If you're gonna be racist, at least call me hot. Jackie Chan? I'm Lucy Liu. Thank you. Someone called me Mulan the other day, and I was like, I'll take it. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. I don't mind being called Oriental. I also like rugs. I get the vibe, you know. Mainly also because I actually have a little confession, you guys. I feel comfortable here, so I'll tell you. I actually think that old white men are exotic too. They're so cute, so kawaii, you know? I love the... I feel like you guys don't agree with me. Have you guys seen the ones with the big bellies? Makes them look pregnant. I love it. It makes me feel maternal. It's so cute. There's also the ones that like say things to you. They speak. So fun. I was at a pub the other day where old white men live. And it was one of those pubs that was called like the old hag's tits, you know? One of those. Or like the Prince of Pedophilia. That vibe. The Queen of Discharge, you know that vibe. Where they have like a flag out, and I wasn't sure if it was for like racism or for like football, but I don't want to participate in either. No, thank you. But I made eye contact with an old white man there, and he looked at me like he saw a Pokemon for the first time. Yeah, he wanted to catch me. And it was so cute how he like came up to me and like asked me if I wanted some company. No. My dad was nice to me. I don't want your company. Shoot. Go watch Millwall or something. I don't know. Is that what old white men do, sir? Yes? Okay. You're not old. How old are you? 33. He's old. Speaking of daddies, I did come back from visiting family over the summer. Not for a religious holiday, not for Easter, for Ramadan. Yeah, surprise, bitches! This hoe is Muslim. Yeah, I know I don't look Muslim. It's because I'm from Kazakhstan. Are we gonna pretend? Like you guys aren't just thinking about Borat right now? Huh? Just wondering why it's an ice. That horrible Borat impression is the reason why my ancestors are rolling around in their graves. Worse than when I fuck a white guy. Which is, unfortunately, quite often. They're just around! What am I supposed to do, not fuck them? That seems difficult. I don't want to do that. But Kazakhstan is a real place. It's one of those places that just kind of been colonized by everywhere, you know, by the Russians, by the Turks. So essentially we're just kind of Muslims who drink vodka. You know, we're Muslim kind of in the same way that you lot are Christian in this country, which is just for like bank holiday. Right, casual, you know. But I thought I might as well try to be a better Muslim. I thought I'd participate in Ramadan. Has anyone here done Ramadan before? No? Thought so, a bunch of white people. Well, Ramadan is quite difficult. It's not just about fasting. It's a lot more than that. So it is quite difficult because I don't know if anyone has told you guys, but it's a whole ritual. It's not just like not eating. So the part that I found quite difficult was not wanking. Yeah, and also apparently it is cheating if you're breaking your fast with cum. But nobody told me that! Anyway, that's been my time. I've been Aisha Manduri. Thank you!
Everybody say Jimmy Free! What's up, babies? Woo! Who's that inside? Make some noise. Yeah, here we go. No, guys, I know I sound a bit different. Number one, I'm not mentally well, but also I'm Portuguese. Do we like Portugal? Yeah? Yeah, I feel like British whites love Portugal. I feel like it's the best place you can go on holiday, right? If you're on a budget, yeah? Or if you want to lose your kids. We kind of took the bitch, and it's on Netflix, a good one. Kidding. The parents said it. And, no, we're silly. I'm actually doing great. I just graduated university recently. Do we like Dream Day? I got a first in digital media. Okay, and a master's in really good vibes. That's why I'm here. Okay, you know, yeah. No, but I'll be honest though, I am not very smart. Like, up until recently, I always assumed that Tories And if you know anything about Portuguese people, you know that during those 3 days, 2,000 cigarettes were smoked, okay? And that's just my mom. This lady, I'll tell you, she's a 67-year-old doctor, smokes like a pirate, okay? Her spirit animal, Marlboro Lights. What can you do? We're having fun. And I realized, because I saw my parents over the holidays, and I realized, I'm not like other kids, because, most kids, they fly home, their parents meet them at arrivals. I always have to go to the smoking area, and it's oh. I know, it's not all bad news, though. I actually flew home because my sister, she's pregnant, she's about to have a baby. Give it up for her. Come on. She smokes a lot, too. Let's see what happens, but, we moved. No, but it was cool. I love going to Portugal now because I do stand up there sometimes, but that means I have to take my family, which not so great. I took my parents to a comedy show, and someone came up to me, and they were like, "Look, I have some advice for you, okay?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "You should always start off your sets by mentioning how gay you look." Triggered? What? I was like, "Thanks, Dad." And the worst thing is, it was actually another comedian. I kind of get his point, though. I was sucking his dick, but still, that's kind of rude. That's homophobic. That's a lie. I made that whole thing up. I have issues, and it's what it is. Joke, punchline. We try. And but and that was great seeing them. I'm not very well, I'm Gen Z. I go to therapy. Does anyone else here go to therapy? Let me see. Okay, I would. You need more. Look at the state of this fucking place. But no, but I do go to therapy. I do BetterHelp. Yeah, I'm doing great. Life-changing advice from podcasts. Yeah. We love it. And you know what I mean? I feel like BetterHelp though is making me too brave, too confident, because I did a show in Camden a couple days ago, and I booked a session 45 minutes before the show. And I was just like, I'll just go to Starbucks, you know what I mean? And I'll do it. What can go wrong? A lot. And anyway, I end up in Camden, and I'm in the queue. My therapist calls me, and and all of a sudden I get the dreaded question, right? We all know it. Do you want vegan or do you want normal cream? And I was like, any cream, I'm healing, I don't know. It's not healing though? My stomach. 9/11 from the waist down, not good. Also an inside job, shout out. But I don't know, but I do love it here though. We do have some differences, and I often wonder if, because I'm from a different country, if animals are like us and they have nationalities as well. You know what I mean? I'm a thinker. I'm smart. Yeah. And do you guys think for example, if pandas are Chinese, right? And lions are African, or rats from Croydon, how does it work? What's the science? I don't know. David Attenborough. Yeah. Present. And you know what? Because I do have an accent, right? And a lot of people say that people with accents are harder to understand, but there's a lot of British white people here tonight. Let me just ask you this. How do you fuckers understand each other? No, you don't play so shy. Like, you travel 20 miles in any direction in this country. It's like you're in a new kingdom in Game of fucking Thrones, okay? And it's scary. It's not. There's no dragons eating my ass out here. No, it's a lot. And if you think like White Walkers, dragons, all of that was scary, and I'll leave you with this, you probably haven't been to a Primark in Liverpool on a Sunday. Because that's real scary. Follow me on Instagram, don't follow me home. And yeah, my name's Joey Cruz. Bye!
Great Smalls! People actually get to the stage!
Yes, Comedy Virgins, we're out tonight! I am Craig Smalls. I'm actually a train driver. So let's be honest, it's a fucking miracle I've even turned up tonight, isn't it? We are lazy bastards. It is what it is. When I was at school, I had this really nasty French teacher that used to pick on me all the time. Mr. Aubert, I'll never forget his name, because I'd be sitting in class minding my own business, and he'd just walk in and start shouting at me. Craig, you're never going to get a job staring out the window all day. Fuck you, Mr. Aubert. That is 80% of my job description. If you're wondering what the other 20% is, 10% sitting down and 10% going on strike. Sorry about that. I was driving a train last Saturday, and this drunk woman gets off, comes storming up the platform, starts shouting into the cab window, "Is that you in there? Is that you in there?" So I pulled the window down. I said, "Are you all right, love?" She said, "Oh, you sound so much like a celebrity. I thought he was driving the train." Well, I'm from East London, right? So I'm thinking Danny Dyer, Ray Winston, at a push. No, Jay from the In-Betweeners. I didn't mention Clunge once in that train announcement. Fucking train wankers. Is there anyone in the audience that lives right next to a railway line? This is good. I can let you in on a little secret that they don't know. The people that live next to railway lines, train drivers, we can see in their windows. And we know where to look as well. We know where those good windows are. I want to paint a quick picture for you. I'm sat at a red signal just outside London, and about 20 yards away, even about where the Cav sign is. It's late at night, middle of the summer, windows are wide open, curtains are wide open, and there's a 65-inch widescreen telly shining a light down on what can only be described as two people fucking going for it. So I did what any self-respecting train driver would do in that situation. I turned my light off so they wouldn't see me watching. I don't want them thinking I'm a pervert, do I? I mean, I am, but... And then I waited for the optimum moment. We all know the optimum moment I'm talking about, don't we? The big O. And I blew my horn. I don't know if you've ever seen someone ejaculate and shit themselves at the same time. But it was the best orgasm he's ever had. And I know that because he's a fucking train spotter now. I've been driving trains for so long. This is quite train-related material. In case you hadn't realised. So if you're not enjoying it, fucking get on board, yeah? Hey. I've been driving trains for so long now, I can work out what drugs someone's taken by what train they're on. Give me a cheer if you've ever been on a last train home before. That's the Coke train. You know who you are. I didn't expect it to be you, madam, but there we go. First train in the morning, that's the MDMA train, isn't it? 5 in the morning, sunglasses on, jaw swinging about all over the gaff. And the commuter train, that's the antidepressant train, isn't it? Just a little bit real for some people. That joke. If you do ever find yourselves on a last train home, these new trains that we're driving at the moment, the CCTV cameras, they're HD. We can see everything you fuckers are getting up to. Caught a couple having sex the other week. Yeah, very much the working class Mile High Club, that, isn't it? Unless you're sitting in first class, and then it's posh dogging. I've got a fan of posh dogging in. Sitting in the front row, lovely. I'm going to finish off with some good news. Recently at work, I won an award. Cheers. I am in the top 1% of drivers nationwide that doesn't have diabetes. Thank you very much, everyone. You've been brilliant. Cheers.
Hey. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I haven't been feeling as funny as usual lately. And I think it's because my life has just been going too well. You know, there's nothing funny about that. Like last week, me and my girlfriend were sharing a lovely afternoon together. That's the end of the story. That's it. There's nothing funny about that, you know? It sucks. I hate it. I've been trying to get my diet together lately because I'm lactose intolerant, but I love cheese. And it's a real problem. Being lactose intolerant but loving cheese sticks feels like being homophobic but loving dicks. Because I'm like, and then I throw up and hate myself. I'm not a smart man. Sometimes I think I'm smart, but then I remember I'm from the Caribbean and I can't spell Caribbean. I don't even know how to say it. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? I don't know. No, I moved to the UK about 5 years ago, and my dad tried to warn me against it. And you know, there's some very valid reasons to advise your son against moving to England. There's a housing crisis, an economic crisis. But my dad's a conspiracy theorist. He was like, don't go to England. They test the vaccines on black people. I've been here for 5 years now, and not once has anyone tried to test the vaccine on me. It feels bad, you know, like, am I just not black enough? No, but I do think there's some real problems with living in the UK. It's a difficult country to be an immigrant in, you know, because generally speaking, people don't want to hear you complain about a country that you chose to move to, you know? They have this attitude like, well, why don't you just leave then? Go back to where you came from. And I don't think that's fair in England specifically. Because complaining about England is the most English thing you can do. When I talk shit about this country, it's just me making an effort to fit in. You know, sometimes I'll be having a good day, but I have to pretend I'm not. Just to blend in with the locals. I'll be walking along, smiling to myself, and then someone will ask me how it's going, and I gotta switch up real quick. Oh, me? Mate, I'm having a right mare. Always makes me laugh. In England, when you're having a bad day, you don't say you're having a nightmare. You say you're having a right mare. And that confused me. I thought you guys had some sort of Scooby-Doo speech impediment. Reggie, I'm having a right mare. No, I work at a school for kids with autism, and I was really surprised when I started the job, because most of the kids at the school are black. And you know, I kind of thought white people had the monopoly on autism. I've just never seen so many black people with autism in one place. I got there and I was like, oh shit. So this is where they tested the COVID vaccine. No, most of my job is just answering the kids' questions. But every now and then they hit me with something I just don't know how to respond to. You know, like I came back one day into the class and there was a kid masturbating in the middle of the classroom. I was like, Dexter, what are you doing, man? Because he was doing it wrong. He had an overhand grip. I said, Dexter, that's private. We do not touch ourselves in public. Why? And I didn't know what to tell him, so I just told him the truth. I'm like, we can't masturbate in public because society hates to see a black man be happy. Thank you, thank you.
Jacob Ryan Murphy!
doing okay? Yeah. Ted, I hate you. You're so fucking good looking, sat there, being all young with your teeth and your nice face and your hair. How old did you say you were? 23. Oh, fuck off, Ted. I would eat my cereal out of those dimples, you know. I am just not on board with it, Ted. Because look, right, and you were a Pilates teacher, yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. Oh. Oh. Anyway, don't worry about it, Ted. That's fine. It's all about me now. So what's been going? Because I'm not from here, right? I'm from the north of England, right? And I'm living the London dream now because I live in someone else's cupboard in East London. Yeah, I'm a soy boy, and it's good because what happened to me is basically I'm from like a rough place. Do you know when people say, oh, I grew up rough, I feel like when you grow up rough, you don't know any different, right? Like I just assumed where I grew up, the bins were meant to be on fire. You know what I mean? I always just assumed that the milkman was meant to sell Viagra. That was just what I thought. And then I moved to London, right, where nothing ever happens where I'm from. Nothing ever happens. Like curly fries are still a novelty where I'm from, right? And then I moved to London where everything happens all the time, all at once. 24 hours into being here, I saw 2 nuns in a Pizza Hut. Just stood next to the salad bar being all holy. That was the best day of my entire life. I'd never seen a nun before. I'd never even seen a salad bar. So, you know, it's good. I like, because I live in East London, and East London is like super multicultural, right? It's very different to where I'm from, very multicultural. Every gender, creed, nationality and sexuality have all come together in East London to have one big fight in a kebab shop. It's as close as you can get to social utopia with garlic mayonnaise, Ted. I don't know of a nicer place where you can get on the bus and be told to fuck off in 12 different languages, so... I say, but I feel like everybody, because you're a Pilates teacher, right? I feel like I'm gonna keep on saying it until you get a proper job. I feel like, because we live by trends now, like we live by trends in London. This is the thing I can't get on board with. I get really nervous about things like we live by trends. Everybody looks at the phone and go, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And like when I feel good about myself, when I feel happy with my life, right, every so often my phone will just randomly open on the front camera to remind me that from this angle I look like an old woman's fat knee, right? That's where I'm at. It'll open there, it'll be like, oh, there you go, Jake, just to remind you, you don't have a neck, right? You're just nipples all the way to nose, that's what it is. That's why I have the moustache, to act as a reference point. Foodies, do you know this one? People who are like, oh, I'm a foodie, me. Oh, I love food, couldn't live without food, me. Oh, how quirky about you that is, because personally I can take it or leave it, me. Sustenance. Oh. And then when I first moved to London, it was this thing which was food, street food, you know, all those street food where you go outside and you eat food, which was dead cool. But when you think about it for long enough, you realise that street food is basically just eating fish in a car park, isn't it? That's what it is. That is buying a sausage off a man who sleeps in a van. That's what that is. I've never in my entire life been sat in a restaurant and been like, do you know what this lasagna needs? Do you know what this lasagna needs? More wind. That's what that needs. And then there's the other ones, which is like alternative healthcare. Do you know this one? Alternative healthcare, where people like lick fucking stones instead of paracetamol or something like that. Personally, I think it's good form not to take medical advice off the kind of person who would wear a toe ring. Because look, no disrespect, right? But I feel like if don't worry about that. I've panicked now because of what's just happened there. But the worst one for me is, do you all know, have you ever met anybody who rock climbs for a hobby? Oh my goodness me, because they're the worst people in the world, aren't they? They're so absolutely unbelievably boring. I met someone at a house party recently who rock climbed for a hobby, and his name was Cliff, right? And the red flag about Cliff was he didn't think that was funny, right? He was talking to me about, do you know those shoes, the toe shoes? Do you know those shoes with the toes in them? Do you know them? Oh, he's telling me about those. Up until that point, I never felt as a person you could feel sympathy for an avalanche, right? But this was me and Cliff, and I feel like as a society we should probably do something about those toe shoes, because I'm not saying it is, but it has to at least be adjacent to paedophilia, doesn't it? Good, you're all wonderful. I'm Jacob Ryan Murphy, thank you so much.
Bring on to the stage, Joy Hunter!
Before Before we continue the comedy, I'd like to issue a public warning to any future parents out there. Anyone getting up the duff anytime soon? Don't name your children after abstract emotions when you have no idea, Stockwell, what their future temperament may come to be. My name's Joy. Joy Hunter. And I've got depression, so what do we do with that? Yeah, laugh at the girl with depression. That was dark. I wasn't planning on saying that. Just a crazy thing to say. But I like to clarify my name up top because I know people mix me up with someone quite a lot. They think I'm famous. They think they've seen me before. Well, I'll put you out of your misery. Okay, so just remember like a few months ago when those videos went super viral of like young Liz Truss. It's been the worst year of my life. What do I do with that? I can't get a new face. Like, this is just my face. It's terrible. But there is one silver lining, which is that, like, at least, like, I mean, like, in Liz Truss's, like, short and sweet prime ministership, right? At least there's not been any long-term negative consequences for anyone else in the country. Like, just, I'm really bearing that burden alone, guys. And you're welcome. Only joking, everything is obviously fucked forever. Which is cool, like, it's cool that everything's bad now. I've actually been thinking about that quite a lot, which is really, like, great for me. I've been thinking that, like, I used to think that, like, humanity was sort of, like, trotting along on this sort of, like, slow march of progress. And I don't think that anymore. I think maybe we shouldn't have bothered ever evolving. And I've actually written a sort of poetry performance piece about that. Because if there's one thing I know about comedy audiences, it's that they just wish they were watching spoken word instead. So guys, don't worry. I'm going to put you out of your misery. I know, you just wish I wish I was having less fun and it was a more highbrow evening. I know. This one about how we should have just stayed in the sea. Coming out of the sea, and I've been doing just fine. Gotta evolve so I can live on land. Started out as a fish. How did I end up like this? I was only a fish. And now my fins are like legs, and I'm learning to stand, and I'm losing my tail, and I'm walking on land, and I'm making stone tools, and now I am a chimp. When did my brain get so big? When did my brain get so big? Now I'm still just a chimp now, so why do I have to work in an office? Evolutionary biology has failed me. I should have stayed a fish with gills, but I'm just a chimp with bills and bills and bills. It's political comedy, guys. And rent to pay, being Homo sapien today. Oh God, where did it all go wrong? Human devolution song. So that's that. Guys, I love the applause, but there isn't time. I'm going to get taken off. I've actually got one more song for you because I know that people just love to hear more of my voice once they've heard it once. So this one goes like this, okay? Last Christmas... I'm just singing that for the rest of the set. Can you imagine? Like, that would be mental. Like, that would be mental. Last Christmas, I tweeted a tweet about how I don't really like the song Last Christmas, and I think George Michael's kind of overrated as an artist. And the very next day, he was pronounced dead. This year, to save me from tears, I've deleted all my social media. What if, just before he died, George Michael went online and saw the tweet that was mine. Is that what he had in his head when he was on his deathbed? Do, do. Do, 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 do. Everybody. Did I kill you, George? Did I kill you, George? 1 minute you're here, and the next minute, wham. Thanks very much. I've been Joy Hunter.
And we bring up to the stage, James Townsend!
Don't be alarmed. I've not walked into the wrong meeting. I'm aware I look like an accountant for the English Defence League. I bought round glasses to try and soften my image a little bit, made me look a bit more like Harry Potter. Now I just look like he's done 4 years in Azkaban. For muggle smuggling. And Harry Potter annoys me in general. Like, I just don't think he's very realistic, you know? Like, I need these to see. And are you telling me you can grow an arm back overnight, but you can't fix astigmatism? More for dragons, just make it make sense, for Christ's sake. I'm from South London. I'm from a place called Kidbrooke. If you don't know Kidbrooke, it's equidistant between Blackheath and Lewisham. Blackheath's the sort of place if you were to get mugged, you'd probably get a receipt. Lewisham's more the place you could get mugged for a receipt. And Lewisham's a weird place. There used to be a restaurant in Lewisham called The Taste of Lewisham. Think about that, yeah? I imagine it's just like a sort of dry old sandal. Like a dollop of gravy on it. Some cigarette ash. And then served in one of those market bags, you know, the blue and pink ones you get. So, I'm 33, I'm 34 actually, which means I've just beat Jesus, which is nice. My dad's all right. He used to being a stand-up. You get used to heckling, and but you can't help but get annoyed with it. And I'd quite like to go back in time, meet Jesus, and heckle him just to see what his limit is. You know, imagine that. And behold, the kingdom of heaven is within your mum. Have that. So I'm actually much worse than a racist accountant. I'm a recruiter. Yeah, I know, even traffic wardens hate us. Well, that's not actually strictly true. I was a recruiter until very, very recently, and I left. I've had to leave the job because of a misunderstanding. You all seem like quite social people, so I'm going to run this by you and see if this was a suitable reason to have to leave a job. Have we all been in a situation where we go out after work and have a couple of beers, have a couple of drinks, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So we've all been there. So just put yourself in my shoes. Is what I'm saying. Right. Okay. Say you're sitting in the pub, yeah, and someone walks in. They look like, I don't know, Noel Edmonds. Yeah. Noel Edmonds. Right. Walks in, and you go, a bloke really looks like Noel Edmonds, and your mate starts laughing, don't they? They start laughing. She's laughing. She's loving it. Look. And then she's laughing. We've all been there, and you get your phone out, don't you? And you get a picture of Noel Edmonds up, and you go, Noel Edmonds, and everyone starts laughing. They're all laughing. Everyone's laughing. Look at him, he's laughing. You're laughing. We've all been there. So you go up to the manager, don't you? Go up to the manager and you go, "Excuse me, have you got a printer upstairs?" They go, "Yeah. What's that?" You go, "Well, that bloke really looks like Noel Edmonds, so I'm going to print a picture of his face out and take it over to him." They go, "Well, yeah, that's a great idea. That's brilliant." So you print it up and you go up to him. You go, "You really look like Noel Edmonds." He goes, "Yeah, I get that a lot." And he starts laughing. They all start laughing because we've all been there and everyone's laughing in the pub. So, next day you go into work and you change everyone's background to Noel Edmonds, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? Change everyone's background to Noel Edmonds and everyone starts laughing. Everyone in the office is laughing. They're all laughing. Look at him, he's laughing. Well, he will do. And off they go and they're all laughing. Your team leader comes up. She goes, "Why is everyone's background Noel Edmonds?" You go, "Well, last night I was in the Two Doves. I saw this bloke who really looked like Noel Edmonds. I thought he'd let you in on the joke." They go, "Oh, yeah, all right, that is actually really funny, yeah." So you buy a life-size cardboard cutout of Noel Edmonds, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? You put it in the foyer of the office and everyone's walking in. And imagine the director goes, "Why is Noel Edmonds there?" You go, "Well, a couple of weeks ago, we were in the Two Doves. We saw this bloke. He really looked like Noel Edmonds. Thought we'd let you in on the joke a little bit." And she goes, "Yeah, that's really funny. That makes loads and loads of sense." So the next thing you know, Christmas do rolls around. You hire Noel Edmonds, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? You hire Noel Edmonds. And he's walking around, he's shaking everyone's hand. He's like, "Nice to meet you, nice to meet you." And you introduce him to the Ruxley branch and he's doing shots with the Ruxley branch. They go, "Why is he here? Why is Noel Edmonds here?" You go, "Well, a couple of months ago, we were in the Two Doves. We saw this bloke. He really looked like Noel Edmonds. Hello." And Before you let you joking, they're all laughing, everyone's laughing. You've been there, she's laughing, we've all been there, we all understand it. So next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you turn up at your boss's door, don't you, ladies and gentlemen, your CEO's door. Hi! He opens the door and he goes, what are you doing here? You go, well, a couple of months ago, we were in Two Doves, saw a bloke who really looked like Noel Edmonds, so I brought you a 6-foot picture of his face, isn't it funny? And his wife starts screaming, they were screaming, she's laughing, and he slams the door shut and he goes, get off my property. So you start stapling the pictures to the front door, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? We've all been there, you're stapling, you're laughing, you're stapling, you're laughing, you're stapling, you're laughing. And then the blue lights turn up. And they go, what are you doing? You go, a couple of months ago, I was in the Two Doves. I saw a bloke who really looked like Noel Edmonds. So I'm stapling a 6-foot picture of his face to the front door. Isn't it funny? And they go, you're fucking nicked, mate. And that's why I had to get a new job. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
People say ignorance is bliss, which I never really understood. But I'm alright with it. I went to a strip club last week, and all the strippers were on Zoom. Apparently, since COVID, a lot of them twerk from home. I gave all my sock puppets to my nephew for Christmas, and seeing how happy he is playing with them, it's nice to look and think, I had a hand in that. I'll never forget the day the doctor told me he had amnesia. He said, Charlie... He said, what did he say? He said, you got to have brain surgery, which I wasn't too keen on. He said, you got to have an open mind. So... my granddad lost his tongue during the war, and you could tell it really affected him because he never really spoke about it. The big sea got granddad in the end, which was sad, but I told him, you can't swim the Atlantic, so... Grandma passed away shortly after, which was really sad. She had a heart of gold, bless her. But in hindsight, it was probably a mistake getting the gold heart fitted. I got a new girlfriend recently. She left me. Yeah, I should have seen signs, really, all the usual signs, you know. Didn't want to come out with him without me. Didn't want to come out with me anymore. Didn't want to have sex, and started building me harder and harder escape rooms. So I started looking for a new job. Got fired from my old job for working too hard. Because apparently when you're a train driver, it's not appropriate to go the extra mile. I tried being a carpenter, and I made a fence entirely out of thumbtacks. Because I heard that attack was the best form of defence. I applied to be a mystery shopper for duvets. It sounded really exciting, because apparently you spend a lot of time undercover. I had to close the power button for short people. I think I set the bar too high on that one. But my career really started to take off when I got a butler. He's really opened so many doors for me.
Hey guys, yes, my name really is Indy, and yes, my parents are obviously piss-taking racists. You see, when I was born so brown, they took one look at me and they named me after their favourite curry powder. But this isn't just any curry powder, this is Indy curry powder. See the resemblance? No, me neither. But this is seriously premium high-grade curry powder. This shit is so good, I have to get it imported all the way from Tooting. Don't knock it, man. Spicy gold dust. But listen, when my brother was born, he was born so white, my parents thought they'd hit the ethnic jackpot. My brother was born so white, they named him Dave. But Dave thinks he's gone up in the world since he opened up his chicken shop. He only answers to the name Boss Man now, so yeah. Dave is a successful dickhead. Anyway, I know you could probably tell from my dusky, exotic complexion. I know it's a dead giveaway, right? That I was born on the distant shores of Grimsby, the home of the mighty fish finger and the nation's favourite dish. No, rewind. The home of the nation's second favourite dish, fish and chips, because that chicken tikka masala is still busting it up across the UK. Spud me, Patrick. But that is just for starters. Main course, like it or not, even you, Patrick, we are all munching on Rishi's roti now. Yeah? I bet Rishi wakes up every morning and goes skipping around 10 Downing Street like, it's beginning to look a lot like the Bali. Oh, Rishi. Oh, man, I reckon he loves being called that P word now. Prick. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, Grimsby. Anyway, eventually we immigrated from grim old Grimsby to the promised land of Peckham. And let's just say, back in the day, Peckham was not known for its cultural diversity. Whenever we walked down the road, if anybody ever shouted at anything racist, we just smile and wave and keep on walking. We didn't like to rock the boat, you know, just in case they tried to stick us back on it. Deport us back to Grimsby, or worse, Southall. But as I got a little bit older, I got a little bit braver. And whenever anybody would shout out, "Oi, Packy," I'd call back, "No, Indy," and smell the fish on that. Confuse the shit out of them, leave them thinking I was some sort of self-imposed racist. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I live in Croydon now. The home of Stormzy, Kate Moss. Stab vests are optional but advisable. Oh, and Louisa, guys, if you're after some really good high-grade weed or skunk, don't come to Croydon. We got our own code of conduct in Croydon like a few months ago. Some random geezer come bouncing up to me and I was coming out the shopping and he goes, "Yo, cash card, phone, now." And I was like, oh what, fam? Because that's how we express ourselves in Croydon. And he goes, "Jeez, calm down, pretty Patel." I thought, yeah, he's definitely from Lambeth. I could tell by from the walk. And oh my God, it just called me pretty Patel. So I stabbed him. I'm only kidding, it wasn't worth the risk. No, my luck, it would have been bye-bye, Croydon. Hello, Rwanda. Pretty Patel and her evil twin, Suella. Anyway, shame, man. Anyway, talking about pussies. But quickly before I go, I inherited my daughter's skanky cat before she moved out. She goes, "Don't worry, Mum. Chica is a good indoor cat. You'll love it one day." I thought, no, man, she's too much work. She refuses to shit in the litter tray. The cat that is not my daughter. But my daughter was actually right. I can't believe it. Who knew curried cat would taste so good? I loved it. I'm only kidding, guys. It was disgusting. No, seriously. I could never eat my own pussy. God knows I've tried. My name's Indy. Thank you, guys.
Stage, James Miller!
How's it going? We okay? Yeah, we good, man? I'm not too bad. I do miss the lockdowns, though. Anyone else feel like that? I miss the lockdowns. I miss all the free time I had. I watched so much television during the first lockdown. I watched The Walking Dead, or Captain Tom, as most people called him. The pandemic did make me very paranoid, though, I won't lie to you, right? Even now, COVID has got me suspicious and worried about people around me. And I think the main reason is because putting on hand sanitizer makes it look like you're hatching an evil plan. This is not a very fun fact, but the amount of people that died of COVID in the UK is the equivalent of 2 fully sold out shows at Wembley Stadium. And if that statistic makes you feel upset, just try and imagine they were Ed Sheeran concerts. Really try and turn that negative into a fucking positive, you know? Okay. Whoa. There we go. Wasn't expecting that. Do you ever do this? Do you ever watch a movie and find yourself rooting for the villain? Yeah? I do that all the time. Especially during those World War II documentaries. Give Hitler a real fucking anti-hero vibe. It's very Breaking Bad, you know? I have seasonal depression, particularly the last season of Game of Thrones. That was rubbish. Not good. I'm in a bit of a tough spot right now. My girlfriend cheated on me with a lifeguard. I should have known something was going on. The red flags were everywhere. That was a groan, that one, wasn't it? That's a real groaner. Don't worry, I've got about 3 more groaners and then we'll be done. I find it weird how men and women can say the exact same sentence but mean 2 completely different things, right? Like if I'm on a date with a girl and we're at a restaurant, right, and she looks at me and says, "I'm not wearing any underwear." There's a few things I can take from that, right? I know the date's going well, you know? I know that I might get a little bit lucky later, you know? But if I look at her and say, "I'm not wearing any underwear," you can assume I've shit myself at the restaurant. That's pretty much all that's happened there, you know? It's not fair, right? How come when she does it, it's sexy, but when I do it, I've ruined a lovely evening, you know? Yeah, man. I'm going to get a bit serious now. I despise people that drink coffee after dinner. How do they sleep at night? It's a groaner. Yeah, that's not bad. I think hipsters on bikes should be called Camden Hells Angels. That's good. But I do think we should start naming groups of people like we name groups of animals, you know? Like you can have a murder of crows, a pride of lions, a savile of pedos. That would be good. That would be good, right? Like if a group of sheep is a herd, a group of deaf people is an unheard, something like that. Yeah, man, it's good. It's nice. It's nice being around and about. It's nice being at the Cav. It's good. Nice sign behind me. It's nice. Do we have any American people in the American kind of? Hand up. Yeah, very American. Get him. No. But we have a kind of a similar language, right? We have a similar language, just a few little differences, right? Like we say rubbish, they say trash. We say primary school, they say elementary school. We say gun range, they say elementary school. It's not that bad, though. They do shoot people in schools. Sometimes. I watch porn. Yes, I do. Little cheer for porn. We don't let those broken homes go to waste. No. I watch porn, but I've noticed a new category, right? A category that I haven't seen before. Cartoon pornography. It's a nervous laugh. You fuckers have been watching it, haven't you? Yeah, man, it's a bit of an interesting thing, right? I'm not talking about regular cartoons. I'm talking about fucking bona fide Disney classics, right? This is an unhelpful truth, but there are disgusting, filthy parodies of all of your favourite childhood movies on the internet. Right, Aladdin, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think that's kind of a gangbang situation. But, I'm a curious guy, right? I'm a curious guy. I had my cursor over the thumbnail of a Buzz Lightyear porn. And I thought to myself, do I really want to watch this, I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. There might be spoilers. But it does make sense, though, right? Toy Story porn. Mainly because Buzz and Woody sound like dildos. And you got to give props to the person that uploaded it, right? Because they called it You've Got a Friend in Me, which is... That's fucking perfect, I would have gone with To Virginity and Beyond, but we can't have everything. All right, thank you very much.
Welcome to the stage, it's Alex Lawrence!
Hi everyone, Alex. And my wife and I are opening up our relationship and I can't afford a therapist, so thank you, congratulations, you're it. COVID kind of fucked us. The first lockdown was fine, wine, gin, puzzles in the garden, the sunshine, merrily skipping through to retirement. By the lockdown after Bojo Stole Christmas, it was more like, why the fuck are you still here? And then came the awkward conversation, started by my wife. And it was... I'd like to talk about it actually in as if I was ordering takeaway food because it's a little bit less painful for me. So just go with it. Babe, that's my wife. Yeah. You know how every Thursday we always have your homemade kebabs? Yeah. Well, what about if this Thursday we ordered in a curry? And at first you were a little bit offended. I was a little bit hurt. I was like, well, what's wrong with my kebab? We always have my kebab. You said you liked my kebab. Actually, at one point, you said it was the goddamn best kebab you'd ever fucking tasted. And now you want to mix it up for a curry? And then you start thinking about how that affects you. And you're like, oh, I have had a lot of kebab. Maybe I might like a curry. Maybe I might like 2 curries at the same time. Maybe I might like my wife to have a curry and I could watch. And before you know it, your wife's taking down this path of deliciousness. You're excited, you're ecstatic, dare I say it, you're a little bit turned on. And so now I'm back on the dating scene. And it's been a long time since I've been on the dating scene. Last time I was on Plenty of Fish. Does anyone still use that? Wow. I least expected one cheer, but no. Deadly silence. The last person I dated on Plenty of Fish actually frisked me for a recording device where they were telling me about the benefit fraud they were committing. As if I was some kind of benefit-busting Gestapo. Really shouldn't have slept with that one, actually. Going to work on my self-esteem this time. This time I'm actually on Field. Anyone on Field? Hello, my man. How you doing? Good. Lots of acronyms on Field, aren't there? Too many. Let me give you like a little bit of a comparison between Plenty of Fish or Field. So Plenty of Fish, for example, a profile will be, I'm a single straight woman. On Field, it will be, I'm a genderqueer, polyamorous, pansexual in an E&M, ethically non-monogamous relationship. Plenty of Fish. I'm looking for the one, my soulmate, the apple of my eye, the father of my children. I'm looking for an FWB, friends with benefits, or ONS, one night stand, kind of situation for casual hookups and BDSM. I'm into long walks, intelligent conversation, fine wine. I'm into pegging. If anyone's trying to work out that acronym, it's not an acronym. Look it up, check it out, message me if you're interested. But it's really diverse, and that's what I like. I'm non-binary and I'm queer, so I really enjoy that. And despite everyone thinking I'm a lesbian, man-hating person for most of my life, I love a dick pic. Love them. I'm fascinated by penises. I never got a chance to play with them when I was young, so I'm really into it. I like the close-ups, I like the faraway shots. I once got a really full-length one with a person with their foot up on a chair with this very long, thin penis standing out like this. Like, look at my manhood, isn't it splendid? And I kind of looked at it and it was like, yeah, it really is splendid. I loved it. Fantastic. But if I'm going to give you one piece of advice, my penis-wielding friends, one piece of advice that I would give you is to never, ever, ever slow-mo your cum shot. Because, yeah, sure, this frenzied thing moves into a lovely supple stroke. Great. The graphic, explicit cum shot is beautiful. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Well done. But what also slows down is your sex noises. So you go from sounding excited to sounding like you've manifested Regan from The Exorcist. Coming! Nobody wants to hear that when they're wanking, not even Satan. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome to stage and Shabazz!
Hello, hello. How are we all doing? He is pretty sexy. She's right. It's weird to come from man to man, but here we go. I'll start off by telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Shabazz, and I am of Asian heritage. More specifically, I am half Indian and half Iranian. No, please, hold the applause. There's a revolution going on. But no, it's an interesting mix, being half Indian, half Iranian. It technically makes me an ethnic minority, which I'm not gonna lie, I've always found it quite weird that we refer to Indians as a minority, even though we make up 1/8 of the world's population. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can we be a minority when there's literally 1 billion of us? And that's just counting the ones in Birmingham. I really get it. It's quite funny. I ran that joke by a friend, and he was just like, no, obviously no one thinks you're a minority in like the grand scheme of the world, but it's just like, you'd be a minority if you were to live somewhere like Glasgow, let's say, or like, let's say you lived in like Alabama, you'd be a minority there. And I was like, that's true. But you know what else is a minority in those places? Teeth. So I don't think we should be taking them too seriously. Just a fun one. That's interesting. I had quite an interesting upbringing as well, because I was born in England, but I grew up in Dubai. And whenever I tell people this, I always feel like they think I had this like really lavish and exciting upbringing. But the truth is I didn't. Because we lived in Dubai between 1996 and 2004, when it was shit. Because we didn't have like fast cars and tall buildings and huge malls. We had sand. Kind of everywhere. There wasn't much going on. There was really not much to do. I mean, telling people you lived in Dubai in the early 2000s is kind of like telling people you had sex with Kim Kardashian in the early 2000s. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's that impressed by it because it took place before all of the money and construction work. Doesn't really count, It's an interesting experience. But I don't know. I've always felt like I quite like shit on Dubai. I always say, oh, it was so terrible growing up there, but it wasn't that bad, There was a few things I struggled with though growing up in Dubai. I think like one of the things I really struggled to do in Dubai was date. I always found that quite hard. I think the main reason I struggled to date in Dubai is because I was 5. Makes it quite difficult, Because I don't know if you know this, but it's quite hard to get laid in Dubai as a 5-year-old, Because Dubai is a Muslim country, not a Catholic one, and that's a joke we're applauding. Nice. It says more about you than does me. But no, thank you. But no, I've been trying to date recently, and I'm not gonna lie, dating's new to me. I've never really done it before. Like, I'm brand new to it. I'll be honest, dating's never really appealed to me. But something else that doesn't really appeal to me is dying alone. So gotta choose one. But I've been trying, man, and it's been alright, right? But I have been struggling a bit. I thought I'd have more success at first, because I went on dating apps and I saw like a lot of girls were saying the same thing. A lot of girls would be like, I'm just looking for a guy who doesn't take life too seriously. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking for a guy who doesn't take life too seriously. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm the perfect candidate. I mean, think about it. I'm 27, unemployed, single, live with my parents, and trying to be a stand-up comedian. I think it's pretty safe to say I don't take this life shit seriously at all. Do you know what I mean? It's quite alarming how unserious I am about life. But I think the main issue I've been having is that I don't think I'm much of an alpha male. I don't think I give off like alpha male vibes, I usually leave a pause in case anyone wants to disagree. You all seem pretty on board with that statement, so we'll move on. But I realize this fact. I know this about myself, but I'm also not good at like texting, like flirty texting, like sexting. I'm bad at all that. Like, I don't really understand it. Like, I'm really bad at like picking up hints and cues and all that kind of thing, and all that kind of stuff. And then especially like the sex. Like, one thing I never understood is like, when guys are just like, girl, I'm gonna fuck you so good, you ain't gonna be able to walk in the morning. You ever hear this? Like, you're gonna need a wheelchair. That's a threat. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a threat. I never really understood it. It's just like, yeah, every time you log into your bank account and you see that disability allowance, you'll be thinking of me. Like, I don't understand what's arousing about that. But I thought I'd try it, you know. So I was like texting this girl. We'd been chatting for a while, going back and forth, and things have been started progressing. And you know, we messaged, and she messaged me one day. I was like, just so you know, I'm home alone. I was like, oh really? She was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. She's like, I'm home alone. Got this big empty house all to myself. There's gonna be no one here. I'm gonna be so lonely being all alone. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty scary. Good luck with that. And then. Yeah, I had it over. And then she was like, hey, fuckface, come over. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Right, and then we were going back and forth. And then, you know, the subject of sex came up, and then we were like going back and forth. And then she was just like, oh, you know, so how good is it going to be? I was like, pretty good. She was like, how good is it going to be? I was like, pretty good. And then I was just like, and I didn't know what to say. She was like, no, see, how's it going to be? I was like, I don't know. And I thought of the wheelchair thing, you know, so I was just like, oh, say something like that, like women like that, right? So she's like, how good is it going to be? I was like, let's just put it this way. You'll be dead by the morning. Cheeky, you know? But yeah, we don't talk anymore, so I'm still working on that. But you guys have been great. Thank you very much.
All right, Patrick. God, we'll get a room later. Hey guys, I'm Louisa, and this year I went to an adult summer camp. So it's not a sex thing. It's not a sex thing. And I definitely wanted it to be a sex thing. First day I got there was a guy called Naked Neil walking around in trainer socks and a bum bag that was filled with drugs which Naked Neil would not sell to me. I have been trying to buy drugs unsuccessfully since 2009. Maybe it's my childlike face, or the way I ask people, got any drugs? Or the fact that I dress like this. But regardless, I'm young, wild and free, by which I mean I'm a millennial with anxiety who also hasn't gotten laid since 2019. I know. A whole pandemic between me and that. So it's kind of like an American summer camp, but it's for adults and in the Kent countryside, that well-known sex capital of the UK. And there's a whole host of like wholesome activities on offer. So I start my day off with some pole dancing, then I whittle a dildo. And then I go to a life drawing class, which Naked Neil has organised himself. Night rolls around and I head to the disco tent. I'm on the prowl. I've got a sex on the beach in hand, because you know what they say about manifesting. I see a hot guy. I look down. He's wearing yellow Crocs with socks. I'm into it. I'm literally into anything right now. He looks me up and down and walks away. I'm wearing this. I see another really attractive guy. He's tall, dark, and swaying. So I head on over. And I feel like I should take this moment to tell you something before I continue with the story. I don't know if you can tell, but I am appalling at camping. I don't do well outside or in nature. And I managed to take a one-person survival tent to a 3-night festival where my primary, if not only goal, was to get laid. So we go back to his tent. His name's Lewis, mine's Louisa. This will become important, so don't forget. Lewis goes to brush his teeth, which I think we can all agree is a bad sign. While he's gone, I stripped down to my unicorn-themed bra and pants. Yes, I did think about that, and I still went ahead. There's glitter flying everywhere. Glitter, notoriously the chlamydia of the makeup world. It gets everywhere, and it's really hard to get rid of. Lewis comes back, looks me deep in the eyes and says, oh, sorry, I'm actually doing dry September, but for sex. You got to wonder, right, what did this guy think that we were doing at night in his tent at an adult summer camp? So I go back to my chastity tent alone. The next night, 3 tequila shots, I'm done. I go to bed with the Tudor history book I've brought for emergencies. Before I can drift off to sleep, though, I hear a familiar sound in the distance. It's Lewis. He's shouting, Lucy, Lucy. You've remembered that's not my name. He's definitely looking for me though, because he's ended up in the vicinity of my coffin tent, which has become a joke to all the other campers. Before I can even get my tent halfway open, he's intercepted by Tracy, the cougar next door. And before I know it... Oh, baby. Oh, mummy. Oh, Lewis. Oh, Lucy. I'll be honest, guys, that last one really bit. It happened. I'd need to say noise cancelling headphones don't cancel out all sound, and they don't at all buffer for movement. But my big takeaway from this experience was our tents were pitched this far apart, and it kind of felt like we were in an involuntary threesome. Which, given everything I've told you tonight, I'm taking as a win. And I've booked a ticket for next year. Thank you very much. You've all been amazing.
Welcome to the stage, Matthew Gomez! Keep it going till we get to
I was going to start by asking if you have any children, but then I remember that you're in a pub on a fucking Monday night, living the high life in Stockwell. So yeah, I've got two children, and you start seeing things totally differently. That opens a new horizon for you, the way you look at life. Like the other day, I came back home and I told my wife, I just met someone in the park. She told me she had 7 kids. 7 kids. My wife was like, oh my goodness, I would not like to see the inside of that woman. Personally, I don't want to see the inside of anyone, but it's for women, it's different. They go through so much, like with the pregnancy and the birth. My wife, for example, she had to give birth in our bathtub while also being on the phone with the emergency services because they could not understand my accent when I was trying to explain the postcode. Is it not S for sugar? Anyway, my accent, I've created a couple of troubles recently. Like the other day at work, my colleague Steve asked me if I had a good weekend. Thank you very much for asking. Steve, yes, indeed, I had a very good weekend. I went and visited many beaches along the coast. A naked beach in Brighton, a dirty beach in Eastbourne, and a very cold beach in Norfolk. If you know what I mean. He had no idea what I meant. But between us, to be honest, sometimes that has nothing to do with the English language and everything to do with the size of my brain. Like the other day in the office, Steve again, I could see him in the middle of the open space, struggling with something in his eyes, rubbing it like a maniac, and I wanted to help, so I stood up and said, Steve, what's wrong with you? Why are you wanking so much? This one is for you, Steve. I hope the job search is going well. But work has been very annoying recently. It's been pissing me off. And I've made a list of things that I hate at work. Number 1, my colleagues making me feel guilty because they have a salad for lunch every day. So first of all, Caesar salad. Chicken, cheese, creamy sauce, bread. That's just a fucking sandwich in the shape of a salad. Then, pasta salad. Pasta salad. What's that even, pasta salad? What's next? Burger risotto? Fish and chip soup? Number 2. I've got colleagues who are the people who ask you that type of question. So how are you going to go there, Matthew? Are you going to take the M1 and then Junction 11 and then all the way on the B626, yeah? Who the fuck do they think I am? I've been watching a lot of the recent TV shows on Netflix recently, the How to Make a Living by Becoming a Successful Serial Killer and all of that, yeah? Lesson number 1, learn by heart all of the highways and junction numbers. Fucking psycho. Number 3, yes, my colleagues, they also like to make fun of me when we go to Starbucks and I order my coffee, when I order my decaf slim fit iced latte with almond milk. And to be fair, I kind of get them. Like, what's happening to me? Like, I used to drink espressos by the dozen, and now what? Almond milk? Almond milk? It's so confusing. Where is the milk even coming from? Are almond tiny titties that you can milk? Nobody knows. Don't Google it. Nobody knows. Number 4 or 5. I don't know if someone is counting. Number 5. People who start their email with "nice to meet you." Nice to meet you. Who came up with that? Okay, in that case, I'm going to write my whole email like that. So yes, nice to meet you too. Thank you for your e-question. Let me double check, and I'll send you another email. Best regards. But then my favorite one is the one with the imaginary hat. You know the one I'm talking about, the imaginary hat? So Matthew, let me remove my manager hat for a moment. And I'm gonna put my friend's hat, and I'm gonna say, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna punch you in the face. There's also PowerPoints. I fucking hate PowerPoint. Is this the company template? Have you been using the right font size? That's not the right blue, and don't forget to distribute all of the boxes horizontally. I'm gonna fucking distribute them horizontally in a box. But what's really pissing me off at work is like all of these people are always comparing themselves with your situation, bringing on their own problems to your stories. Like personally, I'm claustrophobic. So I don't take the tubes. I don't like the elevators. I don't really like dark rooms with no windows. But you can be sure that I have a colleague who will always say, yeah, me too, I'm claustrophobic when it's peak hour and I'm squeezed in the tube between 10 people and I kind of barely breathe with their armpits. I feel mildly uncomfortable. Mildly uncomfortable just by listening to your story. I started having palpitation and shitting myself. Or maybe that's just the effect of the burger risotto. Who knows? Thank you very much.
Amanda Pallister!
Hello, it's me, Amanda. And I don't know about you guys because I just met you. But all of my friends are either getting married and having babies or just like doing tons of cocaine. Yeah, there like is no in between. But if there was an in between, that would be one lit first birthday party. It would kind of be like Goo Goo Gaga. So I'm from Newcastle. But my dad is from Middlesbrough and my mom is actually from Mexico. And it's crazy that one of my parents had to flee violence and the plague of drug wars to find a better life. And the other one's just from Mexico. But seriously, El Chapo wouldn't last 2 seconds in the Northeast. Yeah, man, what's your name? It's El Chapo. Thinks he's a fucking cheeky chapo, this divvy like. And then he'd cry. So I had an interesting childhood. Until the age of 12, I shared a bunk bed with my mom, whilst my dad slept in the living room on a futon. And when I first went over to one of my friends' houses, I saw that her parents slept in the same room, in the same bed. And I was like, oh, you must be poor. But then no, I grew up and I realized that her parents just mustn't have loved her, right? That's what I tell myself. But I'm a doctor, which means, yeah, I'm hardworking, I'm disciplined, and I hate myself. You guys don't have to call me Dr. Amanda, though. You can just call me Dr. Amanda Sidlali Pallister, MBBS, BSc Honors in Medical Genomics with a distinction in Medical Sciences and being insufferable. Or you can just do what my patients do and call me nurse. And it's not that I don't like being called nurse. It's just you know why they're assuming I'm a nurse and not a doctor. It's because I'm super hot. But I do get to do some cool stuff as a doctor. The other day, I was just sitting on a train playing Animal Crossing on my Switch when a voice comes over the tannoy If there is a doctor on board, please come to Coach G as we have a medical emergency. So I get to the scene in Coach G. Big hubbub, guy on the floor, a case of alcohol intoxication with Gordon's. I ask the train stewardess. No, the train steward doctor. How long's he been like this? And she says, I'm afraid that... Miss, you can't get to the toilet this way. We have a medical emergency, but don't worry, the doctor is on his way. And before I could say, bitch, I am the doctor, a man swoops in and steals the show. The carriage erupts in applause. He's not even a doctor, he's a fucking podiatrist. They asked if there was a doctor on board, not Doc Martens. So I didn't get to save the day. I didn't even get to save my Animal Crossing game. Now Tom Nook's on my ass. Just quit hassling me, you anthropomorphic punk-ass bed, bitch. Now I'm out on the street turning tricks for turnips. Oh, some Animal Crossing fans. We'll exchange friend codes. So I'm a pretty good doctor, but I'm also an excellent patient. I went for my cervical smear test recently, which is kind of like a COVID test for your vagina. You know, they put the swab in, they twirl it around, and then you go, ugh. But I do find that going for your smear test is very similar to just like going to the dentist, and I prepare in the exact same way. I brush 15 times, and I wax all my hair off, and then sometimes I put a little mint in there just to make it nice. You never know. And then my nurse peers into my vagina and is like, Amanda, have you been flossing? Yes, no. But I have realized the only difference between teeth and vaginas is when it comes to vaginas, it's good to have a cavity. And I love a filling, especially with some root canal. Okay, thank you, goodbye.
Welcome to the stage, Joe Thomas!
I've lived in Camden Town all my life. It's a great place to live for lots of really different types of people. For example, where I am, a minute to the right, you've got families with 4 bedrooms looking at Regent's Park. A minute to the left, you've got families with 4 kids looking at a combined 90-year prison sentence. When someone screams, you don't know if they've been attacked or been served fish with a red wine. It gives estate agents a dilemma. They don't know whether to describe the area as lively, which we all know means someone was shot here recently, or sought after, which is code for there's a separate entrance for the council tenants. In the end, they settled on ideally located because it's close to M&S on the right and A&E on the left. It was a good place to grow up in a lot of ways, but school was a tough time. I went to South Camden Community School, which, let me tell you, was not an ideal environment for learning. Think Guantanamo Bay without the sea view. First day of year 7, I get pulled to one side. Hey, midget, you got a brother here? No. You good at football? No. You got a knife? No. You're fucked. I try and be careful. Thanks, miss. But she was right, it was brutal. And I'm not talking headlocks and Chinese burns. I mean Olympic standard bullying. The type of bullying that 20 years later sends you into a dark room looking for the approval of strangers. The teachers tried to encourage the channeling of this energy through after-school music and drama. There was always an end-of-term talent competition. First prize was a stab-proof vest and a 10-second head start. I didn't stand a chance at that school. Short, spotty, overweight. They didn't have to put that in the report, though. So at least I could get away from it for a bit every day at 3:30. I can't imagine what it must be like nowadays. With social media, there's no escape. I'm not really on social media, and I'm not saying that to try and be different or in a self-congratulatory way, like when a posh person proudly tells you, we don't actually own a television. I just never really fancied it. From what I can make out, Instagram and Twitter are mostly just food and spite. And endless pictures of people semi-nude. Honest, who would put themselves on display, risk public humiliation just for 5 minutes of attention? I've still got my Facebook profile, but I haven't changed my photo for about 10 years because I want people to think I've still got hair. I was hoping for a Dorian Gray type deal, but instead of the photo aging and me staying youthful, just this. Now every time I log on, I'm faced with a painful reminder that I'm aging faster than those Little Britain sketches where they blacked up. But Joe, Instagram's all right. What's the worst that can happen? It's an excellent question. Thank you so much for asking. All right, let's say I was on Instagram. I'm at home. I cook a delicious curry. Feeling proud, I upload a photo. Quicker than I can say Uncle Ben. Someone spots a slice of bread and butter on the side, and I'm being accused of cultural appropriation. But then comes the inevitable backlash against the backlash. I'm being defended by people I want absolutely nothing to do with. Idiots up and down the country start stapling bread to their local curry houses, giving me an internet nickname. And then, of course, Britain First get involved. We are here today to show our support for Jalfrezi Joe by doing the King's Mill Challenge. Because at Britain First, we believe in white bread for white people. Kingsmill put out an urgent statement distancing themselves, but it's too late. Their reputation never recovers. Bankrupt. Families plunged into poverty as thousands of people are left unemployed. The government do nothing to help, just come up with a poorly judged back to work campaign slogan. Worked at Kingsmill. Need dough. Retrain. Outrage. Riots up and down the country. Businesses, homes, communities, whole towns destroyed as people are forced into Hunger Games style fights to the death. And then finally, when it's all over, there's nothing but rubble, and the flames have died down to mere embers. The only sound left will be the scuttling of cockroaches and the tap, tap, tap of an estate agent's keyboard as he amends the description of the area to up and coming. And that's the worst that can happen. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the stage. It's Tim Chris Fraser.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tim, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm not really. My name also isn't Tim. Now you probably think, oh, it's something really boring, like Timothy. It isn't actually. I'm Brazilian, and so my first name is actually Timocho. Much the same way a lot of people call James don't really like to be called Jimmy. I'm not the biggest fan of being called Tim, but I will take it over people mispronouncing my name. That's because every time I tell someone my name, instead of just trusting me that I know how to pronounce my own name, and pronouncing it the way that I've told them, they instead ask me how my name is spelt, and then they come up with their own version. Which means that I've had stupid shit like Timoteo, which not only is it not my name, I'm convinced that it's no one's name because it's ridiculous. Or tomato, I'm not a fruit. And it really didn't help me when they came out with a shampoo called Timotei. Now, I'd say this is a really weird reaction to have when someone tells you their name. And that's because we're in a land that has given the world so many great names with such weird and wonderful spellings. As you know, Saoirse, Roisin, Siobhan, Aoife, Anya, Kiva, I could go on. I have a friend whose name is Neve, and I've seen her introduce herself to people. And not once have any of those people asked her how her name was spelt, and then said, oh, so your name isn't actually Neve, is it? It's Nearm. Now, it especially frustrates me when football fans can't pronounce my name. That's because football fans have absolutely no issues with the name Szczesny. Now, for those of you who don't know, the name Szczesny is spelt with 8 letters, only one of which is a vowel, which is an E with a little diacritic underneath it, and 2 of them are Z. And then they have no issues with Szczesny, but Timocho, no, I can't do that. What does my name not have enough Zs? Now, another thing about me is that I'm autistic. Now, the first that I heard that I was autistic was when I was at uni and I went to see a counsellor at the age of 19. And I told her I was studying physics, so obviously she gave me an autism screening questionnaire. And this questionnaire said that it's very likely that I'm autistic. Now, I was surprised by this, but I really shouldn't have been. Because growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends and I was bullied quite a lot at school. But at the time, I thought everyone else was just jealous that I was a foot taller than them, friends with all the teachers, and really good at memorising all the countries in geography. But no, it turns out I was just weird.
Now, I was only formally diagnosed with autism at the age of 25. You'll notice there's a 6-year gap there, but that really shouldn't be surprising because we all know who's been running the NHS for the last 12 years. But since then, I've discovered that you get some interesting reactions when people first find out that you're autistic. And they range all the way from, people who are quite well educated or they know me quite well or they've known me for a while. Like, for example, one of my old school teachers found out that I'm autistic and her response was, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." I don't know if I should be offended by that. All the way through to people who are sometimes, quite ignorant and they don't know a lot about autism and they don't know me very well. And they will come out with some really wacky shit. Like someone once said to me, "Oh yeah, my brother-in-law's third cousin twice removed as a child who's autistic and they flap their hands a lot and they don't really talk. And we're having a conversation, therefore you can't be autistic." To which I responded with, "Yeah, well, Barry, most of the people that I know with only 5 functioning brain cells are being kept alive by machines. Yet despite the fact that we're having a conversation and taxpayers' money is not being wasted keeping you alive in a hospital, I have absolutely no trouble believing that you're also brain dead." I didn't say that really. I'm not that witty in real life. It took me about an hour to memorize that bit. Now, I was having a conversation with a gay friend of mine about these experiences that I've had, and we both discovered that there's an interesting crossover between the experience of someone finding out that you're autistic and the experience of someone finding out that you're gay. And that crossover is that sometimes people will say stuff like, "Oh yeah, my friend's also autistic/gay. Do you know them?" No, I don't know them. Why would I know them? Now, look, I want to be really clear. I don't condone saying this if you've just found out someone is gay. But if you do say that, so long as everyone involved lives in the same city, there is at least a fleeting chance, thanks to Grindr, that those two people will have come across one another. Sometimes literally. But as much as I wish there were, there is no autistic equivalent of Grindr. The closest thing we have is the Star Wars subreddit. And if I just spent the last 30 minutes online calling you a moron for saying that the Andor series is better than the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I guarantee I do not want to be friends with you. I've been Tomato. Thank you all very much.